Well, Nvidia did it again, beating analyst estimates, all while facing headwinds from China export controls, chip write-offs, and margin pressure. But despite a multi-billion-dollar hit to revenue based on China export controls, the stock still jumped 5% after hours. Stay with me because although this is one of the world's largest companies already, I'm going to show you why we really have barely even gotten started here. For the first quarter, Nvidia posted revenue of $44.1 billion. This was up 12% sequentially or quarter over quarter and 69% year over year. Its data center division grew 73% year over year to $39.1 billion in revenue, driven by blockbuster demand for its new Blackwell GPUs. But new US export controls forced Nvidia to write off $4.5 billion in H20 inventory meant for China. And if restrictions stay, Nvidia could now be locked out of the $50 billion China market. Therefore, upcoming guidance for the second quarter included an $8 billion revenue hit due to this miss on the China market, which was a known concern of the market and apparently not as bad as expected, as the stock still finished up 5% after hours. Now, here's the real kicker. There's so much demand for compute and tokens. It's really unfathomable and cannot be put into numbers how large this opportunity is for Nvidia. So what are the key drivers here? Let's start with going from generative AI models to inference or reasoning AI models. AI inference, due to reasoning, now requires hundreds to thousands of times more compute than generative AI model, because reasoning models use a chain of thought process to think through answers to provide a much higher quality of answer and increased capabilities in areas such as coding and mathematics. This thought process requires a tremendous amount of tokens or compute, versus the traditional generative AI models where they're just really trying to spit out an answer as fast as possible to you. Reasoning also helps reduce hallucinations, which is key to making something like AI agents actually work. AI agents are creating huge demand in the enterprise as companies are now starting to use these to carry out tasks and workflow. These agents have memory, can use tools, and they continuously train themselves so that they become exponentially better. The ultimate goal here we're working towards would be autonomous robots. And robotics train on video learning, which are absolute compute monsters. Because video generation and real-time perception are what drive today's autonomous machines, the demand for compute will be greater than anything we've ever seen before when these are rolled out. And this really hasn't even scratched the surface yet. Therefore, once agentic AI takes hold, the combined demand from robotics, autonomous vehicles, and video training will dwarf even current data center workloads. And speaking of current data center workloads, Nvidia already can't even make the things fast enough. Nvidia has doubled its number of AI factories, and it has also doubled the output of chips at each factory itself. Because each new factory deploys the latest Blackwell architecture, total compute capacity is surging faster than ever. But even with the insane effort to get more compute online, they remain drastically limited on supply and not demand. Oh, and even if you forget the enterprise demand, the sovereign build-out is just beginning to come to life, as shown by President Trump's $2 trillion deal with Saudi Arabia and the UAE to help build out AI infrastructure. The race here for this build-out creates truly staggering demand. As one company invests in AI, so does all of its competitors, because you can't fall behind. It's the same with countries, but honestly even worse because there's now military implications. Once one country invests in AI, so do all of the others, otherwise they'll fall behind economically and militarily. Yes, China write-offs and the hit to margin stung, but Nvidia's record revenue, their factory expansion, and being the clear leader in both agentic and inference AI shows that this story is still really in its opening act. Now, drop your thoughts below. Which next generation theme excites you the most? And as always, if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like and subscribe for more content and more context.